Good day. Thanks for being here. This is, we'd like to thank IAQG for this opportunity to share content that has been recently developed about safety management systems as guidance for suppliers. So we have a panel here today that's ready to engage and answer your questions about what the implications are to our aerospace supply chain. So before we get into it, why don't we do some quick introductions? And my name is David McDermott. I am a fellow for product safety at Pratt Whitney, and it's been a pleasure to be able to be part of this team where we've developed new guidance again for safety management systems. So why don't we go? I'm going to have Jan, maybe you can introduce yourself next as co-lead.
Hey everyone, I'm Jan Resnick. I'm a safety management system manager with Leonardo Helicopters US. I'm responsible for developing and implementing SMS within our production organization, as well as several Part 145 repair stations throughout the US.
Very good. Andrea. Oh, looks like Andrea may. JJ, you want to go next?
Hi, good day. JJ Campbell. I'm with the Boeing Company. I work in Enterprise SMS, a senior safety engineer responsible for developing and implementing the safety management system company-wide at Boeing.
Great. Thanks, JJ. Fabrizio.
I'm Fabrizio Dido, expert certification, and in particular in this context, I'm the safety manager of my company.
Great. Thanks, Fabrizio. Ellen.
Hello, I'm Helen Misson. I'm flight safety in charge of flight safety department, and in charge as well to implement SMS in Thales in France.
Yeah, Emmanuel Stimpak from Airbus is an important member of our team. She was not able to connect this today, but she's able to provide support. So, Emmanuel, thanks for being with us. And Suzanne.
Hello, everybody. My name is Suzanne Stuberich. I'm from Hensoldt in Germany, and I'm the CMM Compliance Monitor Manager and Safety Manager for our aircraft business.
Very good. And Andrea.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Bossi, and like Jan, I work for Leonardo Helicopters, developing a safety requirement for the supply chain in the company.
All right, thanks for those introductions. What we'd like to do now is provide an overview of safety management systems and their impact on suppliers. We have this pre-recorded that we'll ask to get queued up and shared, and then we'll come back and be ready for your questions and provide answers. So looking forward to a good dialogue. But we'll start with a quick introduction of the content. Hello, and welcome to our Safety Management System webinar dedicated to aviation safety across the entire supply chain. From raw material suppliers, component manufacturers, MRO providers, and OEMs, every link in the chain plays a vital role in ensuring the safety and reliability of aircraft worldwide. In fact, safety isn't just a requirement, it's the foundation of everything we do. In this series, we'll explore key topics like the evolution of aviation safety, the regulations behind it, how it matches with quality assurance, risk management, and the latest innovations shaping aviation safety. Through expert insights and real-world case studies, we'll discuss how supply chain organizations can navigate evolving standards, mitigate risk, and drive a culture of safety from production to final assembly and beyond. If you're part of the aviation supply chain, this webinar series is for you. Join us as we uncover best practices and solutions that help keep the skies safe, one component at a time. This webinar can be found on the IAQG Supply Chain Management Handbook website and is supplemental for the guidance for suppliers on safety management systems. The SMS content in Supply Chain Manual Handbook includes 3 sections. 7.22.1 is an overview of safety management systems. The 7.22.2 is guidance for suppliers for SMS expectations, and 7.22.3 is guidance for leveraging a QMS for SMS purposes. This webinar series is set up to start at a high-level aviation safety background and work into details at a supplier level for better comprehension of the need for SMS and the related expectations in the supply chain. This third episode is dedicated to presenting the Supply Chain Management Handbook Safety Management System Guidance Material, which enables organizations without direct SMS mandates to support organizations that have this kind of obligation. Furthermore, given the interconnections between organizations the global aviation system has, everyone should contribute to enhancing safety at its best. As said in episode 2, ICAO recommends the implementation of a safety management system through Annex 19. This recommendation is then implemented by civil aviation authorities that require certain organizations to establish a safety management system, or SMS. However, depending on the civil aviation authority, this mandate can be applicable to selected organizations only. The aviation industry supply chain is an essential contributor to aviation safety. While there may not be formal requirements for an SMS, it must actively participate in and contribute to preventing accidents and incidents. One of the ways is to leverage the organization's QMS to meet essential product safety related activities or expectations. I'm here with Helen and Jan to discuss how this can be achieved.
Hello, I'm Helen Misson. I work in Thales. I am in charge of Flight Safety Department and on the implementation of SMS.
Hi everyone, I'm Jan Resnick, the Safety Management System Manager at Leonardo Helicopters US. I'm responsible for developing and implementing SMS within our production organization, as well as several Part 145 repair stations throughout the US.
Very good. Welcome. To start things off and establish a baseline for our listeners, let's begin with the fundamentals. And what exactly are a quality management system and a safety management system? So let's start with the system many of our listeners are most likely familiar with. Helen, could you define a quality management system for us?
Certainly. A quality management system, or QMS, is fundamentally about process and consistency. Its primary focus is on the internal processes an organization uses to ensure it can consistently provide products and services that meet all customer, statutory, and regularity requirements. In short, a QMS is designed to achieve compliance and conformity, ensuring the product delivered matches the specification every single time.
Yeah, that's a very clear explanation. And when we talk about product safety, it actually includes both products and services. Compliance and conformity. Now, Jan, how does a safety management system, or SMS, differ from that?
Well, a safety management system takes a different or related approach. The International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, defines an SMS as systematic, organization-wide approach to managing safety. This includes the necessary organizational structures, accountability, policies, and procedures. So, where QMS focuses on meeting a defined standard, SMS enhances proactivity and is designed to go beyond conformity to identify safety hazards, assess the associated risk, and implement controls to prevent global aviation incidents and accidents from happening in the first place.
Yeah, that's good. And I understand there's a well-defined structure to that approach.
That's right. As discussed in webinar 2, the ICAO framework is built on 4 traditional components or pillars, which are first is safety policy and objectives, which focuses on management commitment. Second is safety risk management, SRM, the process of identifying and controlling risks. Third is safety assurance, which monitors performance. And finally, fourth is safety promotion, which involves training and communication to foster a positive safety culture within the organization.
Thank you both. So we have QMS focused on compliance and conformity, and SMS focused on proactively managing safety risk through those 4 pillars. They sound distinct, yet we know they're deeply interconnected. That brings us to the core of our discussion. How do these 2 systems relate to one another? Let's explore that connection. Helen, what is the fundamental relationship between QMS and SMS?
The key thing to understand is that SMS and QMS are complementary. A mature QMS is the foundation for an effective SMS. It provides the essential, well-documented processes, the clarity on compliance, and the organizational discipline that a safety management system needs to build upon. You can't effectively manage safety risk if you don't have stable, repeatable processes for producing your product in the first place.
So the QMS provides a stable ground for the SMS to stand on. Jan, can you elaborate on how the SMS builds on that foundation?
Absolutely. A great way to put it is that where QMS provides a foundation with clarity on compliance and processes to achieve conformity, SMS continues to explore the safety risk during the stages of design, manufacturing, and in-service operations. QMS ensures that the product meets the established requirements. SMS uses it as a starting point and asks a broader question. What are the safety risks of that product interacting with other components at the higher assembly, system, or even full aircraft level? It pushes the focus beyond simple conformity toward a more proactive, system-level view of safety.
That's a powerful distinction. So a strong QMS isn't just about good quality control. It's the necessary launchpad for a mature and proactive safety management approach. This makes it clear that they aren't competing systems, but rather partners ensuring overall integrity. Let's take a deeper dive into their specific similarities and differences. We've established that QMS and SMS are complementary. Helen, can you walk through some of the core similarities between the 2 systems? What common ground do they share?
Definitely. When you look at their frameworks, you see a lot of overlaps. Both systems require strong commitment from top management to be successful. They both mandate setting clear objectives, whether for quality or for safety, to drive improvement. Both rely heavily on documented information, clear processes, and well-defined roles and responsibilities. And critically, both are built on a cycle of continuous improvement, monitoring performance, conducting audits, and adjusting to get better over time.
And that overlap is more than just conceptual, right?
Exactly. The IAQG has done the work to formally map the QMS requirements in the 9100 standard directly to the elements of the ICAO SMS framework, showing just how deep the connection is. Many of the structural elements are the same.
So the core architecture of management commitment, objectives, and improvement is shared. Jan, what are the critical differences in their focus and application?
Well, the primary difference is the ultimate goal. The goal of a QMS is to meet and preferably exceed customer expectations by ensuring conformity and compliance. It's about delivering a product or service that performs as and even beyond specified. The goal of an SMS, on the other hand, is to ensure the safety of those products and services by proactively identifying hazards and mitigating associated risk to an acceptable level. It's all about anticipating possible undesirable outcomes that can happen at any stage of the product life, including years after delivery of the product or service.
Accidents can happen on aircraft that have met all certification requirements because it can be difficult to anticipate all potential system interactions in a dynamic, ever-changing environment. Thus, accident root cause analysis will often create new QMS requirements, so the SMS challenge is to proactively identify hazards before it results in an accident. The concept can be explained with a practical example. The image illustrates a typical compliant but not safe situation where a rule is technically followed by the letter, but not its spirit or intent. In the image, the people are actually wearing masks, so they are formally compliant with a regulation that stated wear a mask. However, because of various reasons, masks are worn in a variety of wrong ways rather than fitting properly, so they cannot actually protect anyone, meaning the people are not truly safe. Extending the concept to our day-by-day activities, this situation can often be the result of superficial compliance when following rules only on the surface, formal compliance versus functional safety, when meeting procedural requirements but failing to achieve the intended safety outcome, tick box safety behaviors, when doing something just to satisfy a rule or inspection rather than to ensure rail safety. In a sense, the leap between QMS and the SMS is between doing what is required and doing what is effective.
Another key distinction is that SMS introduces and champions the concept of a positive safety culture. This is a culture where everyone feels accountable for safety and is encouraged to report potential issues in a just and fair environment, without fear of retaliation.
Yeah, that concept of a positive safety culture feels like a significant evolution. Thank you both. To summarize it to our listeners, while QMS and SMS share management principles, their core objectives are distinct. Customer satisfaction through compliance versus proactive aviation safety through risk management. This is all excellent information. Now let's make it practical. Many of our listeners work for suppliers who may not have a regulatory mandate to implement a full SMS. How can they leverage their existing quality systems to meet evolving customer expectations for safety?
That's a great question. And the good news is they are not starting from scratch. The primary quality standard in our industry, IAQG 9100, already includes requirements for product safety. Specifically, Clause 8.1.3 on product safety requires organizations to plan, implement, and control processes to assure safety throughout the product life cycle. This includes assessing hazards, managing critical items, and reporting events. The foundation is already there in the QMS.
So the hooks are already in the 9100 standard. Jan, the SCMH 7.22.2 guidance material lists several specific expectations for suppliers to engage with a customer's SMS. Could you highlight a few of the most impactful ones and explain why they are so crucial?
Of course, let's take a look at three. First is the identification of hazards. This is a starting point for all safety risk management. For a supplier, the most powerful and practical way to begin is to connect it to something they already manage every day. The guidance states that a starting position is that non-compliance, non-conformity, or an undetected non-conformity, escape, could result in a hazard. This reframes every quality issue as a potential safety issue, making it instantly actionable. Point number 2, identification and management of changes. This is vital because any change to a process, a material, a tool, or even personnel can introduce unintended safety risk into a previously stable system. A robust change management that deliberately considers safety implication is essential to prevent it. Finally, and this ties back to the positive safety culture, is having a confidential employee reporting system. This is incredibly important because frontline employees are often the first to see a potential safety issue. Confidential employee reporting system is critical for uncovering concerns and ensuring that these vital observations aren't lost because people are afraid to speak up, and it empowers everyone to be part of a safety solution.
Those are excellent and actionable examples. It seems the key message is that for many of our suppliers, meeting SMS expectations isn't about building a whole new system, but about adapting and enhancing the robust QMS processes they already have in place. The tools are often already in the toolbox. This has been helpful to discuss practical applications of these concepts. Altogether for our listeners, let's highlight the most critical takeaways. Helen and Jan, this has been an incredibly valuable discussion. Before we open up for questions, what is the one final thought you'd like to leave with our listeners? Helen, let's start with you.
My final thought will be one of efficiency and empowerment. Don't view these emerging safety expectations as a whole new burden. Look at your existing quality management system. The processes for risk management, change control, documentation, and continuous improvement are already there. Leveraging these existing processes is the most efficient and effective way to start engaging with your customers' SMS and enhance your own product safety performance.
Yeah, that's excellent. Build on what you have. Jan, your final takeaway?
I would like to end by focusing on the ultimate goal, whether we are talking about QMS or SMS. These are not just bureaucratic exercises. They are frameworks we use to drive the continuous improvement of aviation safety. Every hazard identified, every risk mitigated, and every process improved contributes to the safety of our families, our friends, and the global flying public. These are shared responsibility, and these systems are our best tools for honoring it.
A powerful and fitting conclusion. We've learned today that a robust QMS is the bedrock of compliance and conformity, providing the stable processes upon which a proactive SMS can be built. They are truly complementary systems, and suppliers can use their existing QMS as a launchpad to meet their customer safety expectations. We can review the key takeaways. Quality management system, QMS, and safety management system, SMS, are complementary but have common processes and tools. QMS focuses on conformity and compliance through robust processes to meet customer expectations. SMS focuses on enhancing global aviation safety by identifying potential hazards and safety risk management. Suppliers can leverage their existing QMS to meet customer SMS expectations, and the ultimate goal is to drive the continuous improvement of aviation safety. Thanks for your participation. We hope you found this valuable. For those in our audience who may want to learn more, we're starting a live Q&A session in a moment, so stay tuned. We'd like to thank the IAQG SCMH SMS writing team and the IAQG communication team, which have given us the opportunity to be here today. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Let's get our panel back. And looking for your questions. On the tool, you'll see there's a Q&A icon that you can use to ask any questions you have about our content, about QMS and SMS, and we'll be monitoring that. Looking forward to get your thoughts on it. While we're working that, why don't I just open this up, Andrea? One of the things we've talked about is the importance of thinking beyond compliance. If I'm not required to have an SMS, why do I need to think of beyond just the QMS?
Well, thinking beyond the quality and the SMS, if you haven't a specific requirement, comes both from the customer, which have the requirement, and from the things we explained in the webinar. I mean, we have to contribute all together to the improvement in the aviation safety. So being proactive and not waiting for something to occur, in my opinion, is the best way to anticipate the threats and to mitigate the threats, which are the starting points of the accidents we see worldwide, and that still happen today. So in my opinion, this is the one main point which drive us to be on the safe side, let me say, even though we haven't got the requirement.
Yeah, that's good. Would anybody else like to add to that? One thread that was mentioned in the opening content was the challenge of learning about issues before they manifest themselves. So QMS does a very good job. Once we understand what the requirements are, we can do that and control things pretty well. But it's a very dynamic environment, and we don't always have complete information. So having a mindset that looks for potential hazards that will eventually update the QMS as requirements are adapted to keep our safety margins in place is another way to think about the importance of SMS. Jan, you want to give us some thoughts on benefits of SMS that you've seen? Especially if we think about organizations that may not have a requirement. What long-term value could they see by implementing in earnest elements of safety management system?
Absolutely. So there are obviously a lot of benefits, both in terms of compliance and others, including financial. I think the SMS provides a framework for more open environment within the organization to make the operating environment more sustainable. It provides framework for openly share information within the organization, which is very important. And by that, it provides basically the structure to prevent any potential issue within the organization itself and obviously outside the organization. But looking at the system as a whole, it's much more robust. So it is reshape the whole approach of the organization within the industry, within its suppliers. So it provides much more open framework for working with its suppliers by removing any existing boundaries, I would say, by sharing information more openly, by making your suppliers, your customers aware of the potential issues, by introducing new ideas and sharing information. So the entire organization, the entire industry can work more safely. That's in very general approach as a whole. Yeah. But if you're going into more details, obviously there are a lot of benefits specifically to each and every category, including hazard identification, risk management, how it impacts, and how it basically protects employees and industry as a whole.
Yeah, that's good. Fabrizio, can you add on to that a bit as far as your experience with working with suppliers on safety management system expectations?
Yes, certainly. It's a challenging question because for many suppliers, as you have discussed now, the SMS is not a regulation, and being not a regulation, clearly it doesn't help too much, but the importance of the fostering a positive safety culture is really related to the role that anyone can play into the safety of an aircraft. That's really fundamental. So that's, at least in my company, that's what I have, and we have tried to make a supplier understanding before entering into the context of regulation, is really making them understanding why they have to think, as you have explained previously, beyond quality, because this makes the possibility to identify weaknesses into the company. There are weaknesses into every one organization, and to analyze them and to check where fixes or mitigation have to be put in place.
Yeah, it's good. Thanks, Fabrizio. Suzanne, anything to add on that as far as your perspective on how SMS is changing the way suppliers and manufacturers are working together?
Well, I think it's important that the manufacturers are breaking down the safety management to the suppliers, because otherwise you are not able to know what's really important and what does safety mean. So it's really important that the manufacturer or the customer explain to the supplier what's necessary and where are the critical key factors. So that's important to know these factors.
Yeah, that's very good. Okay, I'm going to remind everyone you are able to ask questions with the Q&A feature on Teams. We'll be monitoring that, and we'll continue to discuss various perspectives, but looking forward to your questions. Okay, actually, I updated my link, and lots of questions are coming in, so thank you for that. Let's see. Most suppliers don't see a link with 9100 product safety and SMS. Is there guidance that you could share, and will the change to 9100 IA 9100 further clarify SMS requirements? So Helen, would you like to talk about the link between 9100 product safety and SMS?
Yeah, the guidance are there's product safety requirements in EN 9100 from A to G, and the guidance are on the SCMH website. You can find them on in order to how to answer these new requirements. It will be they are in the chapter 8.1.3 of EN 9100.
Yeah, thanks, Helen. And
I can add, I think.
Yeah, please, John. Yep.
So basically, as Helen mentioned, yeah, the link is definitely 8.1.3 safety, product safety, and that's a main link between the two systems. But once again, when we talk about QMS and SMS, we have to understand that the actual content is much broader. It's not just 8.1.3. It may affect your operational performance in any area, including the safety of your personnel, safety of your suppliers, including the environment you work in it. So right now, the link is 8.1.3, that's correct. But by implementing the critical elements of SMS, even when not mandated, it may significantly improve your performance, your organizational performance, and your operating environment working with your suppliers not just in terms of 8.1.3 compliance, but in any other aspects as well. And the best guidance, it's basically whatever Helen mentioned, 7.22, you can find on IAQG, SCMH material. We provided pretty, I think, detailed guidance on how to utilize, leverage existing functions of your organization, whatever you already have, in order to improve these performances in terms of safety management.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. So yeah, that's right. 7.22.2 gives a further breakdown of these A through H requirements, which is our team's view of expectation, how to fulfill the current 9100, which gives a very broad statement on implementing product safety activities. If you look at 9110, this A through H is not completely represented, but a good portion of it is there already. And I think there's some anticipation that future updates to 9100 might follow suit, like the 9100 team, and have a list somewhat like this. So that question from Lee Puttock, thank you. Let me go to another question here. How can we, and JJ, I'll ask you to take the lead on this. How can we help our suppliers? This question comes from Susana Garcia. Thank you. How can we help our suppliers with the SMS deployment? And do you have any recommendation? Maybe what is the first thing we need to look at?
Yeah, I mean, I would start with certainly with the guidance material that this team has created. You know, that is the purpose, to try to bring the QMS requirements and SMS requirements together. I think when you're working with suppliers, when I think about an SMS, that's about proactively identifying hazards and risk. It really starts with a foundation of a strong safety culture, and a key element of that is communication. So I think it just starts with a conversation about SMS. You know, particularly if you look at the relationship between a supplier and an OEM, and you're thinking about SMS as required this system level thinking, it's trying to educate the suppliers on, you know, how their product fits within the greater component or assembly or end product. You know, how that product contributes to potentially to the safety of the product. So I think it's about sharing information and just having a conversation about safety to know where you can, you know, effectively implement safety principles into the QMS.
Great, thanks, JJ. Anyone want to add to that?
I can add a little bit. Oh, sorry.
I can think that, as JJ said, risk is a really important thing, that you can start first with a little training and then do risk management with them together, a risk matrix. And there's nothing new. You already have a risk management in the 9100. So you can rely on this one and only ask questions with the aspect of safety. So that will be the first steps to start with.
Great, thanks, Suzanne. Yeah, did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to, and I totally agree with JJ and Susan about the importance of communication and making sure your objectives are clear. But I wanted to add a little bit on the more practical application. So when you start implementing SMS, and here I'm talking about specifically safety risk management, safety assurance, the key elements of the SMS. I think it's critically important to understand, to define your operating environment, to understand who are players within your operating environment, who are your internal interfaces, who are your external interfaces, who are the entities that may affect the safety of your product or service. By defining those interfaces, their interactions, you can then map what basically will be critical steps for implementing of your SMS in terms of hazard identification and potential next subsequent risk management. Thanks.
Yeah, very good. Thanks. Okay,
David, if I
Don.
can,
Oh, yeah, please, Andrea.
if I can add something to Jan's speech, this helps also your organization not to put too much burden on your safety management system. I mean, identifying what are your external interfaces helps you not to introduce overwhelming requirements on your suppliers. This is from our personal experience, I mean, because when we started out, we developed a system which was too heavy for our suppliers. And then reviewing our interfaces, we were able to tune up the engagement, looking at what were and what are our interactions and what are our external interfaces, and then refining the engagement between us and the specific suppliers. So yeah, the dissemination, the communication, and the analysis of the interfaces is, I think, the first step to do when engaging suppliers.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Dasa Mikulik asked a question here, and Helen, you want to lead us off on a response? How to manage nonconformity with aviation safety impact within SMS or QMS systems? How to distinguish mitigation action risk from corrective actions within the nonconformance process?
Yeah, the first thing is to identify the hazards. So for that, you can the best thing to do is to implement a reporting system. So this reporting system, thanks to that, you can identify hazards. When the thing is to analyze these hazards, and to classify them from a safety point of view, and to analyze the root causes in order to implement the corrective actions, the right corrective actions. I think that is very important to have the right root causes to choose the right corrective actions. And then, as usual in the QMS process, we implement the action is to implement these actions and to be sure that they are efficient. So that's the risk management process. I think will.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Anybody want to add on? Okay,
Maybe
Roy,
Dave,
no, go ahead, Andre.
No, to support Hélène. Yeah, I think that the shared risk assessment process is the key to distinguish from non-conformity mitigations and safety mitigations. I mean, the expertise the customer has on the SMS and on the impact a risk has on the final product, let me say, is the core of this process. Letting the customers know what are the impacts of his component on the whole final product, and what are the implications on the operations, makes the management of the non-conformity actually effective in terms of aviation safety. I mean, letting him know in the interactions beyond the non-conformity is the key. So the risk assessment have to be performed together by the customer and the supplier.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thanks for injecting that. I'm going to, Roy Chadwick asked a question. Fabrizio, I'll ask you to lead us off. This is on progressing maturity. So when it comes to progressing from operating to effective, and that PSOE, the present suitable operating or effective structure, other than auditing the process to see compliance and performance through the safety performance indicators, are there other tools we can look at to validate our judgment of where we are in the journey?
Yeah, you have it clearly depends on the complexity and the size of your organization, because more complex and more spread wide world is your organization, and more complicated it is because you will have to collect elements from all these sites. But in general, you can, for example, perform a safety survey I think on a yearly basis with the basic question, just to understand if everyone is on the same pace, if it is a complex organization, but even if it is an easy organization. And then in terms of indicators, you might identify the number of people who are trained, the number of data that you collect from the SMS, because at the end, from a practical term, the final objective is to collect weaknesses, to address them via the risk assessment, and to define where there are changes that have to be implemented. So clearly, in a few years' time, you should be able to have identified weaknesses and having a risk assessment that has been performed. This is, from my point of view, the showing the real effectiveness of an SMS system into your company.
Yeah, it's very good. Anyone want to add on that response? Okay, let's go to the next. Al-Saleh Hassan has a question here. What is the level of safety compliance required from AS 9120 accredited distributors, especially that 8.1.3, that's the product safety, is not used in the latter standard? So I'm not all that familiar with 9120, so I'll open it up to the panel here if anybody has any insights on that. Accredited distributors was not a primary.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yep. Yeah, what is the level of safety compliance required from accredited distributors as AS 9120? So we have not, especially that 813 is not part of the 9120 standard.
I think I can answer that. That's something I've mentioned before. So regardless of 9100, 9110, or 9120, in case of 9120, so yes, we have a little bit less applicability to specific manufacturing process. I actually wasn't aware that 8.1.3 is not there, but even though it doesn't matter, the bottom line, you're talking about implementing a system which will provide a lot of benefits and sustainability for your specific company and also for your operating environment, including your suppliers and your customers. So by implementing at least some critical elements of the SMS, you enhance your internal systems very significantly. So even though 8.1.3 might not be required part in 9120, it's still something that you would definitely like to implement, at least to some key elements, specifically, let's say, hazard notification, specifically talking about key points of safety risk management, monitoring of your performances in terms of safety assurance, okay, monitoring of your internal actions and monitoring of your operating environment. Other aspects related to safety performance, those are critical for your operation regardless of mandatory application. And even though 8.1.3 may not be part of your compliance structure, it's still something that you have to follow. It's still something that's critical for you, obviously for your customers. So you still would like to implement the key elements because that makes your company much more focused on the product itself, on the safety of your products or service, and making your company much benefits in many aspects.
No, it's good. Yeah, I think as organizations perform their tools like a process FMEA and find that there's an opportunity where there's interactions between different entities, distributors or other types of organizations in the supply chain that working together to share that information, to put in the right right protections is important. All right, so I am let's see. Give me one moment. I thought we had another question that I think this is it. Okay, so this is from Ryan Olden, and it's related to the integration of safety management systems and cyber security or information security management, the ISMS, which EASA is leading on implementation of ISMS activities. So Fabrizio, Suzanne, Helen, I look for your perspectives on your approach for SMS and ISMS integration.
Yeah, I can start on this one because we have initiated deploying it into the company. In fact, there are a lot of parallel, if you want, in terms, for example, of reporting, etc. But it has to be understood that the part, yes, the cybersecurity, if you want, is a contribution to the SMS in the sense that with the cybersecurity, you could identify potentially a risk to product safety that was not identified before due to the peculiarity of the subject. You know, cybersecurity, whilst the flight safety is very well known almost by anyone, cybersecurity is a little bit mysterious, or at least everyone have their own thinking about what is a cybersecurity. So in this respect, it will have to be developed separately. But once it has been identified and once the methodology to identify weaknesses, risk have been identified, they contribute to the SMS just in a very short term.
Maybe I can add one with our experience. We put the ISMS into the SMM totally, and the first good thing is now we have to be integrated with the IT guys. So that's the first time that IT and QM is talking together, and that's a really good approach that you keep in an early stage already inside them, because now IT have to understand what they have to announce in respect of flight safety, because they are not known to this, because they are in a cyber world. And so we have to train them and say, look, if this happens, then you have to alert it to the safety manager, and it has some context to the flight safety. So that is a really important point, that these two guys, safety manager and ISMS manager, work very closely together and they learn from each other. So that's our experience at the moment.
Yeah, thanks, Suzanne.
Yes, in Thales as well, there's a great connection between SMS and ISMS, as cyber events are proactively analyzed, and it's an input for safety hazards. As I said before, cyber hazards can have an impact on safety. So the good thing is that usually they're identified proactively. So that's a good input for SMS process.
Yeah, very good. Anybody else want to weigh in on ISMS and SMS relationships? No, I think that was a good overview. So we're approaching the top of the hour. Thank you for these questions. I do want to go around the panel with just maybe a quick around the room here on what you see the benefits and recommendations for organizations as they think about the new content in the supply chain manual handbook. So the 3 documents we've created, your recommendations for organizations to utilize and flow down this information. So JJ, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Dave. I think that we've, intended for this guidance, right, to be used by anyone in the supply chain, right? No matter how big or small, right? The idea behind the SMS is really to make it work for your company, right? For your organization. I think there's key principles that apply to all organizations. We discussed a lot of them here, like, making sure that we understand how to identify hazards. What are your key interfaces? How do you share that information? How do you, build a system of reporting, right, with your employees so that you can share information effectively. So I believe that the guidance that we've created can be applied to an organization at any level, no matter what your contribution is to the end product.
Great, thanks. Fabrizio, we'll go next to you.
Yes, in fact, the guide that we have been built up along all these almost 2 years, I think it is now, it's a very pragmatic approach for a company who has to implement a system that might be similar to the SMS. And we have to remind that it's not for companies who are mandated to have an SMS, but for companies who are in support of purchase with the SMS. So it's a very, very pragmatic approach that will guide you through phase by phase what you have to implement. So that's this was the initial objective, and I think we achieved it.
Yeah, great, thanks. Jan.
Okay, so I'd like to basically focus on 2 points. Number one, I see a lot of focus on whether the SMS is mandatory or not, and I would suggest to ignore this part. Regardless of whether you mandate it or not, it's a very beneficial system. It can help you a lot. You do not have to follow maybe all the requirements, but you certainly would like to select items that may benefit your organization and implement them in any case. If you're a small organization, if you, let's say, as one of the questions was about 9120, so you are a distributor, that's fine. In any case, and that leads me to the point number 2, part of your business will be contractual obligation to your customers, and the requirements will be there very soon. So in addition to beneficial to your organization, it's also very, very, very good to implement some harmonious structure when you have a framework of work, of safety work within your organization. It will address a lot of potential requests from your customers as well. So you benefit yourself, you benefit your customers, and you benefit the entire industry.
That's great. Yeah, thank you. Suzanne.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is start with easy steps on it, because you know already a lot of things and it has to fit to your company. That's one important thing. And the other key message with safety management is that it's the responsibility of everybody. So also give the information on how people can alert something, they can speak up, allow them to speak up. Otherwise, you won't get any information about safety issues. So the main topic would be that people are allowed to speak up.
Great. Thanks, Suzanne. Helen.
Yes, for me, the most important is to realize that SMS is really a mindset, because we are all, when we work for aeronautic companies, we are all engaged in ensuring safety for us, for our family, for our friends. And it's very important to be connected between us and to implement a reporting in order to analyze these reportings in order to improve altogether flight safety.
Great, thanks, Helen. And Andrea.
Well, I want to stress the communication and the cooperation you have to build between the 2 organizations, whether you are a customer or a supplier. You have to speak up and to ask questions. The communication is really the basic element of our collaboration. because we want to implement something which improves the aviation safety. So speaking up, the collaboration and the effective cooperation is the starting point of everything.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you, panel. It's been great. This team really is a global representation. Europe, the Americas, Asia, all were active participants. Just a testimony to the collaboration and working together on such an important topic like safety management and aviation safety in general. So thank you for your participation. Really enjoyed it. Thank you, panel, and look forward to working with everybody in the future and continuing to improve our aviation safety posture.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.